Welcome to the Weekly Business Hour, where each week we give you the best in business news that you can use, tips and information on how you can make your business more profitable, and hear from a special business guest who will share their own experiences in running their business. Our guest this week is Cody Spence of All Star Catering Company. I am your host, Rick Schisler, Silver Fox Advisor, who personally has 40 plus years of experience as a serial entrepreneur. So sit back, pull out your pad and pencil, and get ready to take notes. Good morning. This is Rick Schisler, your Silver Fox Advisor, welcoming you to another week of the Weekly Business Hour. Hope everybody's warm this morning because today it's awful chilly outside, but it's warm inside the studio. We've got another great program for you. I've got some tips and ideas for you that you can hopefully use in your business immediately. And we have a great guest. We have a foodie in the studio today, if you will. Recently I saw that the definition of foodie included anybody that was connected with food. So we really have somebody who has a great connection with food. And that's Cody Spence from All Star Catering. Cody, welcome to the show today.
Thank you very much.
Well, first we're going to talk a little bit about some tips and some ideas, particularly as we start the new year. Obviously, we're all covered up through the media with New Year's resolutions and how to start the year. We talked a little bit last week, in fact, here on this show about planning and the importance of starting off the new year with your plan in place, whatever that may be, that you can have something to benchmark yourself. But this week I want to talk about two things that are basically very dear to my heart and I think very important elements as part of being successful in any business, whether you're a sole proprietor or you run a business with 1,000 or 2,000 employees. The first one is networking. I personally believe that networking sometimes is oversold, and by that I mean oversold. It's just talked about all the time. There's probably hundreds, maybe thousands of books on the subject. There's seminars, there are experts, there are consultants out there. And to me, networking is a fairly straightforward proposition for any of us. And what it's all about is building relationships. And I think perhaps that is one of the most important things I've learned in my business career, stretching back over 40 years. And that is the importance of having relationships. Most of us have good relationships within our family. Maybe not with every family member, but with our family in general. And it's really a transfer of that ability to communicate, to see the positive aspects of an individual, or in the case of business networking, the positive aspects of the products and services they offer, keeping in mind that we need to be patient in developing those relationships, that we need to recognize that no one is perfect. Go in with an open mind, but go into the business networking, the business of networking, try to build relationships and meet people. And I'll be frank with you, to me it's fun. It's great to meet new people, to hear new ideas, to see people out there working hard. Occasionally you'll bump into somebody who's really struggling, and I always feel a little bit passionate about trying to help them, all kinds of situations. But the first thing you got to do is you got to get up and you got to get out there and you got to connect. And there's literally hundreds of opportunities around us. We all know that. Here in the Montgomery County area, we've got our Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Conroe Area Chamber. Wonderful place to start your networking. They do all kinds of fantastic events. They're run well, they're well attended, and it's a great place to start meeting people. But there are also lots of other groups that are out there. Some professional groups in your particular area of expertise, your business. All businesses of any size, industries have groups that meet either locally or on a county or state level. You need to join these groups. You need to attend. And what I recommend to people that are not doing enough networking, and let me be frank with you, if you don't do enough networking, it's typically reflected in the revenue of your business. Whether you're a commissioned salesperson or you own a small business, whatnot, or if you have a sales force. I mean, let's face it, if you're the leader of that business, the owner of that business, people are watching what you're doing. And if you're out building relationships and bringing new faces to the business, creating new business opportunities, then it excites the entire workforce. My rule of thumb is I always want to be involved in at least 2 networking groups at any one time. In other words, I want to have 2 networking events each week if I can. I look for that. Might stretch 3, but you've got other things to do. You've got to work in your business and on it. And I consider networking to be a combination of on and in, if you will. On the business, by being involved in a little bit of marketing, in the business by the fact that I'm trying to create business. But I'm out there building these personal relationships with people, trying to do business with them as well. But I would set a goal in 2014, if you already don't do this and if you don't do networking well, which I think there are a large minority of people who don't do networking well. They just don't feel like they can get out there. They're concerned. But set a goal to do at least 2 networking events each week if you can, or join 2 networking groups. These groups meet morning, noon, and night. Find one that fits your schedule. Try it out. Once you visit one, don't feel like you have to join that group. I recommend that you attend at least 2, if not 3 meetings. Make sure there's a meeting of the minds, if you will, that you fit with the personalities of the group, that you feel you're going to enjoy the meetings, because let's face it, how are we going to build a relationship unless we enjoy the environment we're in? But put 2 groups. And the second thing that I suggest, which is sometimes a little controversial with the experts out there, is I believe that you should stay a member of a particular group, with some exceptions, and one of them would be a Chamber of Commerce. But these other smaller networking groups, I believe you stay a member for a year or 2. And at that point, you've probably developed all the personal relationships with the key people that you're going to develop. And typically those relationships number 5 to 10 different people that you really have built a strong relationship with. And if you leave the group, or one of them leaves the group, you're going to continue to have contact with them. And so my encouragement for someone trying to build a business is that you every year or 2 turn over and try to move on to a new group. What you're trying to do is expand your network. You're trying to reach out to more people. Some people try to do this where they come to a networking event and they pass out a bunch of cards and they think they're expanding their network. Well, they're not building any kind of relationship by just passing out cards or advertising material. And I could do a whole show about that alone. But just take my word on it. If you don't see the fact that it's important to build that relationship and take that one-on-one time. Again, my second encouragement is the idea that you have a networking plan, if you will. There's that word plan again. And that you constantly on the move looking for a new group to replace one of the groups you have. Again, there are exceptions. I think a Chamber of Commerce, business chamber, is an exception. Definitely here at the Greater Conroe Chamber, because they're constantly doing new things, new people coming in and out. So they're having the turnover that you're looking for to build those relationships. I think the final thing, the third thing I recommend, is make sure you do have synergy with that group. And I mentioned that earlier indirectly in the fact that I suggested, obviously you want to fit in. You want to be part of that. You want to be a dynamic part of the group. Doesn't mean you got to be the guy that gets up front and speaks all the time, anything like that. But you want to feel like your time is not wasted. Because look at it. You're going to take time either away from your personal life. If you have a family, you're going to be taking time from them, or you're going to be taking time from your business to go to these groups. These are like a timeout, if you will. And so you're going to want to feel comfortable. You're going to feel like you're with people you enjoy being with. And at the same time, you'll be in that environment that is conducive to building good relationships. So third thing is make sure that you have good synergy with the group that you join. The second thing I want to talk about today, and this is a personal thing as much as anything else, but I think a lot of businesses and a lot of individuals unfortunately miss that, and that's the idea of being part of your community. And what I'm talking about in particular is giving time and joining nonprofit groups. Now, these are not necessarily networking groups. I think you can do some great networking in your church or a religious environment. You can do great networking at nonprofit groups, but that's not really the true motivation, let's face it, to be there. But I think it's an important part of the balance of your business. We often talk about on the show about work-life balance. Well, I think your business has to have a balance with the community, because you've got to show your prospective customers and the people that you want to build relationships that you care about the neighborhood, if you will. You care about the city, the county, the state, whatever, and you give time to these groups. And again, there's literally hundreds of groups. You can find one that you fit in with. But I recommend that you find one that you have a passion about the cause. For an example, I have a passion about kids. I believe that kids, you want to give them an opportunity. If I find a group of kids who don't have an opportunity to move to the next level in life, I'm interested in that group that might help them reach that next level. And that can mean it's something like 3 square meals a day. It can mean a chance to go on further in education, tutoring help, going on to college, whatever. But the idea is you find something that you have a passion about. And I think it's got to be part of the service aspect of your life that you're serving. So in other words, you just don't join the group, you go to the meetings, you're part of the service they do, the projects they do, and whatever it is. And again, make sure you fit. That's the second thing. Make sure you fit. There's synergies there, the passions, because you're going to be taking time away from your business and or your family or your personal life, and you need to fit. And I think all of us can find in our hearts some passion for a particular group. So I think it's very important. And the last thing I want to mention on that is I think you can mix your business in with this, because I think, again, you will meet like-minded people you can build relationships with, and then utilize your business to sponsor certain things and be the actual donor. If there's a need for a donation of in kind or in cash, then use your business to make that donation. But you as an individual, as a representative of the business, need to be the participant in the business. So that's very important. So you're going to have to make that commitment for time. Otherwise, I encourage you, don't waste your time and join. Make that commitment, though. Make the commitment to put some of your time and energy, as they say, time, talent, and treasure. And I think you and your business can be greatly rewarded. We're going to take a short break now, and then we're going to come back and we're going to jump into All Star Catering with Cody here and talk about the food business, particularly the catering business. And I'm really excited about this because this company's been around and probably the number one caterer, I'm sure, in Montgomery County, if not surrounding counties. So I think we've got a great story and some great ideas to hear in the program today. So please take a moment with us. We'll take a break and be back with you shortly.
The East Texas Dream Center is in need of your help. We are a nonprofit Christian organization that houses women and children who are trying to get their lives back after being homeless, abused, or addicted. We are conveniently located at 301 South 1st Street, Conroe, Texas, 77301, right here in Montgomery County. Our needs are financial and every needs of gasoline, cleaning supplies, laundry soap, Lysol, and whatever else God puts in your heart. To help our ladies and children, please consider a donation. You may visit our website at www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Again, so you don't forget, it's www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Donations are tax deductible. Remember what Jesus said, with God, nothing is impossible.
Do you ever wonder what's going on in the business community? Are you looking for ways to get plugged in? Cassandra Roshan here, Director of Membership Development with the Greater Conroe, Lake Conroe Area Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to invite you to tune in to Chamber Chat. Tune in the first Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. so you will be in the know for all Chamber happenings for the month. Each month, the Chamber offers 2 free lunch and learn sessions, a networking breakfast, business after hours, membership luncheon, as well as many other special events throughout the year. I will give you a rundown of all programs and events for the month, as well as interview our speakers and hosts of these events. So grab a cup of coffee and tune in to Chamber Chat the first Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. Chat with you then.
Welcome back. This is Rick Schisler, your Silver Fox Advisor, and you're listening to the Weekly Business Hour. As promised, here in the studio today, and we've already heard Cody say hello, we got Cody Spence of the All Star Catering family. Boy, Cody, I'm getting your name changed. You'll be part of our family before you know it.
No kidding.
You're part of a family business, which we'll touch on, but All Star Catering, tell us about it.
Well, we're a family-owned and operated. We were established in 2005. We started the company, or my parents started the company, out of their home kitchen and also out of the kitchen at West Conroe Baptist Church. So they kind of helped us out there, too.
So what was the motivation to start? I mean, was somebody a good cook or?
Well, my dad grew up around the food service industry. His dad owned Dairy Queens and Aunt Annie's around the county, and he just has a very wide knowledge of the food industry, and it has a more flexible schedule appeal, I guess you would say, over owning a restaurant. You have to be there 7 days a week, 15 hours a day for the first year and a half. So all our food is homemade, made from scratch. We don't take anything out of a can, dump it in a pan, throw it in the oven, and serve it to people. We strive for perfection. We firmly believe that if we have 300 weddings and 299 of them go perfect and one of them doesn't, well, heck, that's a pretty good percentage of success. Will we ruin that one person's day? And we don't like to do that. So we strive for perfection with every single job. So.
Well, let me ask you this back about, you mentioned your family came from the restaurant business and the flexibility of, or the added flexibility or the possible flexibility, I guess you'd say. If you're really busy, you're busy, regardless of whether you have to open at a set time or not. Who's the best cook in the family? I've got to know that.
Oh, man. Oh, you put me on the spot.
Well, then I don't want to do that.
Well,
I don't
no.
to put fellow business people on
I'll
the
tell
spot.
you this. My dad has the ability to walk into a kitchen where most people would see nothing to cook, and he can throw something together, and it looks like a five-star meal. My mom, there's certain things she can make that nobody can make better. Chicken and dumplings. That woman can cook some chicken and dumplings, and she comes from a German style cooking, so a lot of her food reflects that. But my dad, that man can cook some barbecue. I'll tell you that.
Well, let me tell you, for a young fella on the spot, you gave a wonderful answer. So you've become a diplomat already, I can tell.
Dad has me networking. So.
Well, you're out there, you're working in a family business, and as a lot of our listeners knew, I grew up in a family business. I shared that with you when we were visiting earlier. There's all kinds of dynamics that come into play with families, and which I always found them basically to be positive, and really enjoyed working with my family. So tell us about working in a family business. What are some of the challenges you've come up against that are different?
That's a good question. Well, luckily, me and my parents, we get along very well. Wasn't always the case. Like all teenagers, I was difficult to deal with. And from what my dad says, I will pay that price when I have kids. I really don't think there's anything that's much different. I mean, I don't ask to be treated differently. A lot of the times I don't tell new employees that I'm their son because I don't want to be looked at that way. So there's not a lot that is different besides the fact that I walk in and say, "Good morning, Mom and Dad," instead of boss. So.
Well, I tell you, one of the things, and I get a sense sitting across the table from you this morning, that I always felt comfortable. It was just not that I felt like you. I was very careful about how I represented myself. And my dad always told me, he says, you've got to give 110%. He says, because there will be people who will look at you. But I never gave it a second thought. I just gave it because he was always out there showing me how to do it just by example. And so, but I always just felt really comfortable being around my grandparents, my parents. It just felt like the place to be. And I was always excited to be there in the middle of it working.
Yeah, I am always excited to go to work. I love going in. It's easy to wake up in the morning. It's something that I found that I love to do, that I'm good at. And I'm surrounded by a great support staff, and I'm also part of the support staff. We all support each other. We all give each other a hand. Everybody that works there firmly believes that there is not a job that they shouldn't do or that they won't do or can't do. Everybody will pitch in anywhere within the company and help out. If we have to get over there and wash dishes, we will.
Well, and it's my impression as a consumer of the catering business in general, and I've in my lifetime been to a number of catered type of events of various sizes, including special occasions like weddings, but also other types things. And to me, being in the kitchen, and my family's actually had catered events before in my lifetime, there's a lot of effort and a lot of management and a lot of having people in the right place, and it looks difficult to carry off.
It's very difficult. Our vice president, Dawn Bello, could answer this question a lot better than me. I do not know how she does what she does. I'm trying to learn, but she's the best in the business, and everybody that we have is from what I've seen, the best in the business. We have taken a lot of time to research what we do and to look for flaws in it. And we're constantly looking for flaws, and we're always trying to make it better.
That's interesting. Now, on your business card that I have, it says you're a floor supervisor. Tell us what that is.
It's the same as an event manager. Basically, when we go to an event, we come in with the staff. This is your average event. We come in with the staff. We unload. Me personally, working in the catering business, you become a little OCD. So I like to unpack everything and separate it into different services that we're doing throughout the night. And then we set up the buffet. And I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Well, no, you say you were going through how you approach an event.
Oh, okay. We set up the buffet, and once the wedding ceremony ends, everybody comes inside, bride and groom take pictures, and then they get announced. My job when I'm there is to watch the floor, watch the time. Eventually, you kind of get a indication of when things are going to happen, how fast things are moving, how long it's going to take the bride and groom to get finished, how quickly things need to be put out. Timing is a very, very, very large part of my job. And it's just to manage the event and make sure it goes smoothly. Most catering companies, they show up, they set up the chauffeurs, they serve the food, they might pick up plates, and they leave, and they clean up. We consider ourselves not your average caterer. We like to go above and beyond. If there's something that we see that's, I guess, out of whack, you would say, we try to bring it to attention to a wedding coordinator or a mother or a father who is in charge and make sure that the problem has been avoided or that there's not going to be one.
Well, you've mentioned a couple of times in our conversation already this morning about doing weddings and whatnot. What other kind of events are common, if you will, or the kind of events that you look to do in your business besides, say, a wedding, which is a special event, obviously?
Well, we do a lot of corporate catering. Not as much as we used to. We do corporate lunches, a lot of corporate holiday parties, big ones that we have these big food displays where food is put onto granite, and it's very beautiful. We do Christmas parties, family gatherings. People can come to the office and pick up food for our Dinner Tonight program. Sweet 16s, birthday parties, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, anything and everything that you might want us to do. We don't hold ourselves to any limits, and we don't let our menu limit us.
That's interesting. You mentioned your food for go, and what I want to do is we're going to take a short break now, Cody and ladies and gentlemen, and when we come back, I want to talk about your food to go, because I recall when the first time I heard about it, I thought that was an interesting concept, kind of a little twist in the business, if you will. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us, and we'll be back in a moment and continue our conversation with Cody Spence of All Star Catering. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joyce with the Corner Pub in downtown Conroe. We're located at the corner of Simonton and North Main, just across the street from the courthouse. The week starts off Monday with open mic, hosted by Alan, and Tuesday nights open mic, hosted by Jeremy Bankhead. And on Thursday evening, McFarland Jams. There's nightly drink specials available every night, all night. And don't forget, live entertainment every weekend. To see a full list of events, visit our website at thecornerpubinconroe.com. So come join us at the Corner Pub, where the deli is open late.
Howdy, folks. Cable Smith, host of the Lone Star Outdoor Show, inviting you to join me Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 on Lone Star Internet Radio for Texas' premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor talk show. So pour yourself another cup of coffee and pull up that stool a little closer to the old campfire, because if you can catch it or kill it in Texas, we're going to talk about it. That's right. Bucks and ducks, gobblers, monster bass, redfish, trout, and a whole lot more. Plus, you never know what outdoor celebrity is going to drop by, from Phil the Duck Commander Robertson to fishing legend Bill Dance or everybody's favorite Uncle Ted Nugent. Heck, we might even mix in an interview and hear some brand spanking new Texas music from one of your favorite Texas musicians like Robert Earl Keen, Brandon Ryder, or the honky-tonk kid himself, Aaron Watson. Loved or hated but never ignored, it's the Lone Star Outdoors Show with me, Cable Smith, Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 right here on Lone Star Internet Radio on irlonestar.com.
Welcome back. This is Rick Schisler, your Silver Fox advisor, and we're still in the studio here for a second half hour of our program with Cody Spence with All Star Catering. Cody, when we left a moment ago, we were talking about a special program that you all, your family, developed to offer food to the public. Talk to us about it.
Well, what it's called is Dinner Tonight. I think have been doing it a little over a year. It's either a little over or a little under. I lose track of time. And it's homemade casseroles and sides and desserts. And what it is it feeds 2 to 3 people per small round pan. And it's usually averages around $12 for the entree and $5 to $7 for the side. And you just order, or you call the office, you get on our emailing list. We send you out a menu every day. We use Constant Contact for that, and you just come to the office and pick up your dinner tonight. And it was a little confusing at first because I didn't, when it first started, I was really deep in school and was in the middle of a huge project. And they came up with this dinner tonight concept. And they're like, Cody, you're doing dinner tonight, tomorrow. And I'm like, what? You're doing dinner tonight tomorrow. What is dinner tonight tomorrow? It's called Dinner Tonight. And it's funny to me, so I don't know.
So that's how it got started. Dinner tonight, tomorrow. I like that. That's a phrase there that should be worth of being branded or something. And so the idea is the fact that you've offered a convenient option to people for some quality food, to have a good meal, and take it home. I guess, is it fresh?
It is freshly cooked. It comes cold. We do cook it, and then we put it in our refrigerator so that way you can just throw it in the oven. We live in a fly by the, I guess, edge of your seat society. I don't know what the actual term is, but we live in a very fast-paced society, and people who are teachers or work in the corporate world or sole proprietorship, they have really long days. People that have kids, I can only imagine being a kid once and how much trouble I caused my parents, the difficulty it can be to raise 2 or 3 kids, balance a job, balance a budget, and having a million things to worry about. And dinner tonight can take one of those worries off the table.
Right.
We can make dinner simple and easy. You get home, heat up the oven, throw it in there, and get a few things done, get the kids bathed, whatever. Take care of some bills you have to. And when it's done, you pop it out, put it on your plate, and eat it.
Now, I assume these come with instructions as far as how to heat them and that kind of thing?
The labels do have instructions. If they don't, we'll tell you how to at the office. The majority of them are preheat oven to 400 for 30 to 40 minutes. Put it in there for 30 to 40 minutes, depending on your oven.
Now, tell us, has the program been successful? You've had about a year?
Very successful, more than I think some people thought it would be. We knew it would be successful because we do have good, fresh food. And people had told us all the time, y'all should sell this. Y'all should open a restaurant. Well, we got into the catering business because we didn't want to be in a restaurant business. And my dad came up with this concept. And it is very successful, and people absolutely love it. They have their favorite meals that pretty much you can guarantee when it's put on the menu that they're going to be one of the first ones to call.
That's interesting. That's an interesting twist, and I personally enjoy eating. It's obvious, I guess, if you meet me, but the fact that you have fresh food, I think it's wonderful. And you also said a magic word when you're talking about your mom, German cooking, which I come from a German family and enjoy good, hearty food. So it's a wonderful idea. And I think innovation in business, I mean, in the catering business, think about it. How innovative can we really be? We can provide good service, which you've talked about, and always take care of business real well. But here's a little twist. So that's interesting. Let's kind of jump back into the catering business in general. And you mentioned you grew up around it. You worked. You went to Sam Houston to college, and you were commuting back and forth and working in the business. Catering business in general. What is the single biggest challenge you have just being in the catering business day to day?
Besides the Montgomery County traffic, I would have to say it would be training, and it's not due to lack of effort. It's not due to inexperience of the trainer or inability to learn of the trainee. It's just the simple fact that a lot of the people that we bring in to train, new employees, you have one or two types of jobs to which they're going to be working regularly, and you only have anywhere from 3 to 5 of those a week. Well, they can't be at every one. Well, then it's a full week most of the time until they get to come back, and a lot of that, especially in a young person, is not going to be retained as easily. Yet it's easier if have a natural ability to learn very, very quickly. It's a learn quick industry, very much so.
Well, and I would think that, and you and I touched on this a little bit prior to the show, is that, I mean, people are a large part of what you do. I mean, I'm not talking about necessarily the people you serve, but the people that you have to employ to perform the task and provide the products and services that you have. And I hadn't really thought about it, the fact that these events come and go. They're not like I go 40 hours and so I've got to hire someone and they come back, like you said, a week later. Anything special you do to train them or you look for in the person you hire to work for you to overcome? That's a huge hill to climb to get over in the training that you mentioned.
It is. The best way that I have found is people learn better by failure. Now, we're standing right behind them if they do fail to make sure that it's not a failure that is going to cause a problem within an event. I have a problem with talking very fast, and I tell them, slow me down if I'm talking too fast. I tell people that I'm not going to get mad at you for messing up. I will never get mad at somebody for messing up. I will never get mad at somebody for asking a question that they legitimately don't know the answer to. It's when they don't try, they don't ask the question, they stand around and do nothing because they're afraid to mess up. That's what I tell people not to do. The only way you're going to learn is if you try.
Well, give me a brief profile. Say you're looking for people, which I assume you have a certain amount of turnover. What's a brief profile of someone who prospectively would be a really good employee for you to work on the jobs or events you have?
We like common sense. It's very important because when you're setting something up, catering's very chronological order. I mean, if you put one thing in place, the things that are beside it have to go in line. And we like people to have common sense. We like them to be hard workers. We like very charismatic people because we like to communicate and interact with the guest while we're doing our plated buffet. One, because it's a friendly thing, like, hey, how you doing? How was the wedding ceremony? You ready to eat? Things like that, just to get them focused on you because it helps the line to move faster. When people are focused on you instead of the person behind them, then they tend to get going a little quicker. So people like that.
That's interesting. Let me kind of switch it around now. Let's go to the other people that you deal with all the time, and that's the customer, the client. What is the biggest challenge in general that you have with clients?
I would say when something isn't communicated and we show up day of event and something wasn't communicated to us and some people get a little irritated when we don't know things, and we just simply weren't told. But we take extra very detailed steps in order to try to make sure that doesn't happen. 8 years or a little over 8 years experience, we know a lot of the questions to ask. But like I was telling you before the show, it's something new every day. Something new comes up. So we do gain experience every day. That is a positive out of that. So. Well,
let me ask you this. Do you use in the business checklists and things like that are forms, if you will, that you use on each job to make sure you touch the bases, as you prepare and as you perform the job? Well,
for the job, yes, we have something called a function sheet. We have one for the kitchen and one for the warehouse, and we have a system. You highlight it as you go, and it's everything that is going on the job. If it is packed, it is on the sheet, and if something doesn't get taken to the event, usually it can be traced back to not being highlighted, probably 80-85% of the time.
That's interesting. So the forms, again, I think would probably be very important, because your business is kind of, starts and stops real quick. I mean, it doesn't go on every day the same way, and you have different crews of people, and that's a mighty challenge, I think.
Yeah, it's a very hurry up and wait business.
Yeah, so. I hear that. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about marketing of your business. Now, what is your source or your largest source of new business for your company?
Our largest source, or our largest way to get new business?
Well, the way you currently get new business. I mean, what is the largest source for new business, new clients?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth?
Word of mouth. That's probably 95% of our marketing is word of mouth, and either my dad or myself going out and to chamber events, Lions Club, young business professional networking, things like that.
The word of mouth obviously puts a lot of pressure on quality of execution of what you do then.
Very much so, which is, it's one of the things that has helped us get to the top, because we promise and we do deliver on that perfection.
Well, let me ask you kind of a question. If someone's listening out there, and we have a number of our listeners based on the surveys that we've taken that are thinking about getting in business for themselves, and I know your dad and mom started this business, but you've been around it for quite a while.
Absolutely.
Would you have a piece of advice for someone who was thinking about getting in, say, the food business in general? Because we've talked about the restaurant business. What would your advice be to them, to help them make a decision whether to do it or not?
A couple things. One, if it's not something you don't absolutely love to do, you will not succeed. It's not something that you can fake. People can be very sweet, but people can be very cruel. People can be very critical. They critique, and like me, people are honest when it comes to especially food. If it's not what they like, they will tell you. If that's something you can't take, you have to have thick skin. You have to have very thick skin, and you have to love it.
I think that's sound advice. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another break. I hope you will stick with us. When we come back, we're going to talk to Cody a little bit about the things I talked about, in fact, when we started the show, and that's about community involvement and networking. I think he's got some interesting points to share with us as they relate to his business. So we appreciate it. Stick with us, and we'll be right back with you.
Hi, this is Erica Tullis, Executive Director of the Breast Cancer Charities of America. The Breast Cancer Charities of America is a national nonprofit organization with our headquarters in The Woodlands, Texas. We focus on non-invasive breast cancer research and helping the true patient that is going through breast cancer. Through our Help Now Fund, we help women pay the rent and utilities while going through their breast cancer treatment. It's unlike any other program that truly is out there. We are here to help the woman. Our phone number is 936-231-8460. For more information or to get involved or to even make a donation, please visit our website, www.igopink.org.
Hello, this is Dennis Nelson, inviting you to come with me through the doorway of imagination and into the theater of the mind. The Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour presents a play every Saturday night at 7 p.m. on Lone Star Internet Radio. Be it drama or comedy, thriller or love story, every exciting episode is carefully chosen straight from the golden age of radio and performed live by talented actors, musicians, and sound effects crew. Every sound you hear will be 100% live and homemade. Anything can happen. So join us, please, every Saturday night at 7 p.m. for the Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio.
This is Rick Schisler, your Silver Fox advisor, welcoming you back to the weekly business hour. We've been in the studio talking this morning with Cody Spence of All Star Catering. Talked a little bit about family business. We've talked about the catering business, some of the challenges. And during the break, we were talking about Cody's other career that he tried once. And I'm sorry, Cody, I just can't let it pass. Cody shared with us, it's a personal thing, but I think it's wonderful. As an individual, I think it was wonderful. Cody, you were a stand-up comedian. Is that true?
I did it for a little over half a year. And
you said it taught you a lot of things about, just life in general.
It did. One, it taught me how to have real thick skin. Hecklers are there, and they don't stop them or kick them out when it's amateur night up there. And one, I found out I really don't have stage fright, which a lot of people, I probably could have told you that anyways. But I mean, it was a good time. Life was really rough at that point, and when life is rough, people either get angry, get depressed, or they laugh about it. And I chose the route to laugh about it, to find humor in pain, to find humor in tough times. And if a lot more people do that, then maybe we wouldn't have so many problems these days.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And I'm sorry, I couldn't pass it up because as I said off air, I congratulate you because it's all these experiences, really, truly. And in this case, you took this on as a profession or a potential career move, and now you've taken that experience and it's rolled into what you're doing now. And that's one of my pieces of advice to aspiring entrepreneurs is you take all your experiences. They're not maybe directly in the business or industry you're thinking about going into, but you've got all these experiences, and a lot of people discount all that of how much it's going to help. And one of the two things I think you actually mentioned that was if someone wanted to go in the food service business was to have a thick skin. So what you're saying, I guess if I can connect the dots, is they need to go be a stand-up comic for 6 months to get the thick skin. If they don't have it, then they'll have that requirement covered.
That would absolutely work. Or you could come work at All Star Catering. We're very critical because we have such, I don't want to call it an obsession, but it almost is, with perfection. We're very critical, and I tell people, I'm like, just because I'm getting on you or I'm correcting you doesn't mean you're in trouble. It doesn't mean you're not doing it what would be considered right at other places. We have a different way of doing things than most companies, but the way that we do it works. And we tell people, learn our way first, and once you perfect our way, then we can try it your way.
Well, that makes good sense, and it sounds like you have what I call high standards, and that's critical.
Very.
And you stick to them. And the
Very
discipline
much so.
of that is missing, unfortunately, in a lot of businesses that I get asked to help out. So it sounds like you've covered those bases. Well, let's switch gears, and with the few minutes we have left, talk a little bit about work-life balance, outside activities, and I mentioned it before we went to break, the networking community aspect, and you shared with me previously that you do networking, and you've mentioned it on the show. What kind of networking, I mean, how do you approach the networking you do currently?
Quality over quantity, and I say that in means of not the amount of networking events that I go to, but the amount of people I really talk to when I'm there. You mentioned it earlier about if you can't go out and just pass out your cards and be like, hey, hit me up if you want some food. I do go to a lot of events, a lot of chamber events. They have I can't remember what it's called, but it's at the corner pub every
The after
last
hours type thing?
Yeah. I do go to the chamber after hours. I do bridal networking events, the young business professionals, Lions Club, just pretty much anywhere that I can. But when I'm there, I mean, I'll pass out cards like on the tables just so somebody picks it up and sees it, because you never know who's going to need catering. They're never going to know when they're going to need catering, so they might pick it up and put it in their wallet and see it 6 months later and give me a call. But other than that, I might talk business and potential jobs with maybe 2 people, 3 tops if I'm there for an hour, and only give out a couple of cards in that manner. Because if I can't sit there and really try to figure out what it is they want, what they want from us, what I can do for them, and what they need and what they don't need, because we don't like to sell people things that they don't need, then I'm just wasting my time, just spinning my tires.
Well, the thing you mentioned too, and it was the other topic I talked about this morning, was community service, and you touched on that. You're part of you mentioned a member, I believe, of the Lions Club, and how important do you find it to be part of a service organization like that?
Extremely important. To me, in order to truly appreciate what you have, what you've done, giving back it's one of the most important things. In order to truly appreciate the things that you have and what you've built. If you can't appreciate the things that you have, I'm not exactly sure where I was going with that, but it's very important. Community service, when I was at a different school prior to Sam Houston, I worked a lot with ALS. Lou Gehrig's disease.
Right.
I was in a fraternity there, and that was our philanthropy. We did something usually once a week, raised a lot of money for them, tens of thousands of dollars. And here at Lions Club, we do the eyeglasses and the vision screenings. I actually did one with my friend Mona from Buckaloo Chevrolet. We did one over there at the First Baptist Church of Conroe. And giving back is a huge part of what we do at All Star Catering, because the community is part of what made us successful. So we like to give a little bit of that back.
Right. Well, that absolutely ties in. I mean, you and I are sitting in a radio station today that's all about community and connecting all parts, including business as well as nonprofits, religious, everything, schools. Everybody's connected, because that's what we are, a community. Let me ask you this as we go into the final 3 minutes we have. What do you see for the future for Lone Star? I mean, there I go again. All Star Catering. What do you see the future? I mean, you've got the food program that your dad had the idea, and he called on you and he said, tomorrow we're in that business. What do you see in the future?
A larger amount of weddings, especially we were named the Knot Magazine and Wedding Wire's 2013 Best of Weddings for the catering section. And that alone has helped grow our business tremendously in the last year. And with all the soldiers coming home in 2014, thank you for your service. There's going to be a lot of what you would call shotgun weddings. And we're already starting to see that, a lot of military weddings, and we're hoping to further expand our wedding business, maybe get back into the corporate lunches a little heavier, possibly once construction gets done in Willis, and just move into new ventures, and possibly expand our menu a little bit more in the sense of newer, fresh recipes, which we're constantly working on. And I just see really big, awesome things for us.
Well, you know, the community here in Montgomery County in general projects, unbelievable growth. Not just south part of the county with the Woodlands and Exxon and that, but the north part of the county, in Conroe itself, the lake, Willis. It's phenomenal over the next 10, 15 years. And I think that's going to be of a great challenge and benefit to all of us.
And people don't realize how big the wedding business is in this county. It is absolutely huge. There's wedding venues popping up all over the place. Another big part of our success in the wedding business particularly is the Springs events out off 2854, Amber Springs, Pine Hall, and Stonebrook out there. There for a couple of years, I bet 60% of our weddings were out there, and they're a huge part of what has helped us get our name out too.
That's interesting. The wedding business comes right along with growth, I guess, in the county in general as far as jobs, opportunities, and people. Projecting what I read the other day or heard, 600,000 new people moving into Montgomery County over the next 10, 15 years. And
Absolutely.
that's phenomenal if we stop and think about it.
And the further that Houston moves towards Spring, the more that people that used to live in Spring and the south side of the Woodlands move up here, and it just the community's getting better and better. It's getting bigger. It's flourishing in pretty much every venture. We got a beer factory. That's awesome. So Montgomery County, big things are coming. So.
Well, I see you and Dick both agree on that one, 100%. Well, Cody, I really deeply appreciate you coming in today and representing your family business, All Star Catering.
Appreciate you having me.
You've taught us a lot, taught me a lot about the food business and so on and so forth. If someone wanted to get in touch with you and talk about an event or whatnot, what is the best way for them to do that?
Go to our website. It's www.cateringbyallstar.com. We have a thing that you can fill out online, and somebody will be in touch with you within 24 hours. We like fast communication. We like to get back with people very, very quickly. Or you can check us out on Facebook at Catering by All Star, or Twitter at Catering by All Star also. Or you can give us a call at 936-228-0440, and we'll be glad to talk with you and help you out through any questions you might have, or cater any event you might have. We do 10 to 10,000, and we look forward to catering your next event.
Well, we look forward to having you, your family, and All Star Catering being an integral part of the the Montgomery County. Boy, I love Lone Star today. I'm just on the mind. The Montgomery County community for many, many years to come. And again, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the show today. I think it's been a good show and a great opportunity to learn a lot. Next week, we're going to have some interesting guests. We're going to learn a little bit about pizza that you can pop in the oven. So I hope that you will join us. Check out the Lone Star website at www.irlonestar.com for more information. Always remember that Lone Star Internet Radio is Conroe and Montgomery County's community radio station, where the community comes to connect. Lone Star serving Montgomery County from the heart of Conroe. Now, I encourage you, sit back and enjoy the true Texas country music brought to you by Lone Star. See you next week, partner. Thank you for listening to the Weekly Business Hour. Our special business guest next week will be Andy Bowling, owner general manager of Papa Murphy's Pizza in Conroe in the Woodlands. Check out the Lone Star website at www.irlonestar.com for more information. Always remember that Lone Star Internet Radio is Conroe and Montgomery County's community radio station, where the community comes to connect.
Hey everyone, this is Tina, your host from Retro Saturdays. I wanted to invite you to visit the Lone Star Studios here in downtown Conroe, Texas. We're all volunteers here, and we need your help in serving the Montgomery County area. Radio media is a fun field to be in. Lone Star Internet Radio serves Montgomery County with news, current events, local programming, and of course, music. If you are interested in volunteering and sharing your talents in media, go to irlonestar.com and let us hear from you. Lone Star Internet Radio, serving Montgomery County from the heart of downtown Conroe.